So Google just announced Android 17. They're claiming it or hyping it to be the biggest Android update ever. Is it actually? Well, for a few parts, yes, but mostly I would say no. It's more like AI that runs on Android. It's not like Android has AI. You get what I mean? So, yeah, let's talk about it. So, let's start off with the biggest problem with Android, especially for influencers, which is the social media integration with Android smartphones. So, for the past like a decade or so, the optimization for Android, especially the social media apps, has been terrible. Even though Samsung have claimed to be optimizing their software, to more support the special features that their smartphones have to work better with the camera app inside their social media app, like say for example Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all the other social medias. But now it's actually happening on the base code level, which is on the Android level, because manufacturers use different skins, which means the Android, and on top of that they add their own code, sort of change or add new features and such that. But when it's happening on the Android level, which means the base code, it sort of eases out the developers to sort of optimize the camera app for every Android smartphones. At least that is what Google is claiming to happen. We don't know if it's actually going to be good, if it's actually going to be bad, or it's not as good as promised. We don't know anything. We have to wait till the summer so that the Pixel phones and also the Samsung flagship phones get this feature first, and then it slowly rolls out to other smartphones. But what's happening is the integration has been improved or will be optimized for the capture to post optimization or the pipeline as they're claiming it. So what is actually happening? They highlighted three main features to work better this time, which first, ultra HDR capture and playback, built-in video stabilization, night side integration. So what it essentially means is the HDR will actually look like HDR when you're using the social media's camera app. It actually looks good rather than looking like a potato camera that you just bought from like, I don't know, 2012 or something like that. So, let's take an example. This creator actually shows how the video quality looks like inside the camera app on the social media app. It looks really bad. And this is from a $2,000 smartphone from Samsung, even though they claimed in many events that they optimized it to look better. No. So it's actually really good. The second, it's video stabilization. Your phone might have it, the really great. Let's say, for example, the S26 Ultra has the horizontal lock feature, but it doesn't work really well inside the camera app on social media. And also the night mode looks really good, and it also functions as it should, like 10 years ago, something like that. But now they're fixing it. Let's really hope it's as good as it is claimed by Google this time around. Now, talking about Instagram, the short form videos where people react whatever that is on their screen, show pictures. Let's say, for example, I watch these sort of videos where they explain what is happening, in science, in astrophysics, whatever. You've probably came across a few videos like this. Now, without using the social media app, you can natively do it on Android, especially on Pixel phones, which is really good. You can sort of react whatever that is on your screen. You don't need to switch constantly. That sort of eases out whatever that you're using, whatever that you're explaining, so that you focus more on the explanation rather than which slide that you should choose next. And also you don't need to use green screen or such like that. It's more of a convenience rather than you don't need to use it, because let's say for example they didn't implement or the optimization didn't go well for Android. Now you don't need to use the app. You can just use the native camera app to record it first, and then you can sort of upload it. Really good. Now the edits app. So I don't know that people use this app. So this is Instagram's edits app as they're calling it. So yeah, I don't know, I've haven't seen many people using it, but if you're using it, it has a few updates. You know, the Pixel phones or like the Samsung phone or many of the smartphones nowadays, except Apple with their Apple Intelligence, you have the audio erasing feature and also, you know, the smart enhance feature. Now it's integrated or it's implemented inside this edits app. What it essentially does is in my opinion, makes the photo look worse because it's removing the contrast, it's removing the shadows to make the image pop more. You know, look at this example. And yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, you change the color of the skin tone and everything to make it more pop. And yeah, I don't seem to think that is a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it because, you know, it looks good at first, but after a while, if you experience this, it looks worse. You know, it looks like you put a filter on top of it or something like that, even though they're claiming it to be, you know, improving the image or enhancing the image, even though it's not, it's making it look worse. Another one is the audio removing feature, the sound separation feature, which is really good because it separates the voice using the on-device AI feature, and you can sort of remove the background noises that is happening on the video, which is really good. But apart from the smart enhance feature, this is a really good update if you're using the edits app, and I hope many of the apps used for editing implements this with their apps. You know, it's a really good implementation, and I hope many apps or the developers join this to integrate this feature into their apps. It will be really cool. All right, this is a pretty fun one, actually a pretty long list of features that is available. The Android Auto is getting a fair amount of, you know, upgrades and updates, and it's actually looking pretty good. First of all, it now fits the car screen better. You know, some car manufacturers have different screens, weird shapes and stuff. Google is claiming to be fixing that so that it fits whatever, you know, you might have a circular display or have a weird shape or anything. So yeah, it now fits those screens better. Now, apart from also, you know, fitting your screen, whatever that shape might be, it also now enables us to customize the widgets and also add shortcuts. Let's say, for example, your frequent contacts, and also add a few more whatever that you might like to add on your home screen when using Android Auto, and it's looking pretty good. So yeah, that's really great. And also, you can now watch videos in 1080p 60 fps if your car supports that resolution and also the frame rate, and it can play that on device, you know, sort of things like that. If it's compatible, you can now do it with your car, and also it supports Dolby Atmos if your car also supports that feature. Also, if you're driving, let's say for example you were watching and then it's fully charged, or you know, you're fully invested on it, you're listening to a podcast or something like that, and now you want to drive, rather than just suddenly stopping, it just continues to play without showing the video but only playing the audio, which is really great. But I'm not sure how it's gonna know when you're driving or when you're parked. Yeah, that I'm not sure. Google didn't mention it either on their website, so I don't know how it's gonna work. Maybe it's gonna use phone's GPS to know whether the phone is moving, so when it's moving, you know, you're driving, so it sort of minimizes the video into this audio playback. And you must also have YouTube Premium, because if you don't, it's not going to work. Also, Gemini Intelligence, I don't know, Gemini is already AI. I don't know why they're calling it Gemini Intelligence. I guess to compete with Apple Intelligence, even though it failed already. I don't know why they're calling it, but Gemini Intelligence is also now integrated into Android Auto, which means the manufacturers can now submit the data, the manual book, to that, so that Google works deeply with the manufacturer or the car manufacturer, whatever that you want to call it. Gemini knows more about your car, so that let's say you bought a TV and you want to know if it fits on the back, you know, you can carry it or not. You can sort of ask Gemini to let you know if it's gonna fit or not, and that I think is really good. All right, now this is the like the main parts of this new update. It's like really good. Yes, it should have been done like a few years back with, I don't know, like Android 14, Android 13 or so. But now they are finally doing it, which is appreciated. But there's also a few minor features here and there that I want to go through quickly. So yeah, let's go through it. First of all, switching and sharing between Android and iOS, it's much more improved. Now more devices will support the new AirDrop and Quick Share integration, which means you can share images, videos, whatever between Android and iOS without having an internet connection, which is really good. It now works with more devices. There is a new feature called Pause Point. So Pause Point is sort of like um, an app where it's an upgraded version of, I don't know, screen time features. I don't know how it's going to work. It's mostly we don't know how it's going to work. They only showed like a few demos on their website. So yeah, let's say for example you want to restrict the amount of time that you used or spent on the particular app. You can do that, but now when you want to open it again, you have to do a few tasks. Let's say for example you want breathe in for a few minutes. You really think about it, like have a few memories go through, and to make sure you make the proper decision when you open Instagram. Let's say for example you used it like for 4 hours a day, which is like crazy, and then now when you open it again, it shows breathe in. So you do that and you're like really thinking about it. Should I do it again? Is it actually worth it? So maybe this will prompt you to close the app and do more productive work, which is really good. Let's see how it goes in real life when people actually started using it. And also, I saw this and I happily skipped it. So do you, and everybody most probably should skip this feature because it's like, yeah, they are like pirating your privacy with your own consent, but not you're actually knowing it. So yeah, I saw this, just like that, skipped it. I want to see it and I want to know how it's being implemented and what are the privacy restrictions that they're putting in so that they won't sort of fish or sort of collect all your data. All right, very small ones. So I like to read it. Actually, I wrote it here. So app automation, which means it sort of books you tickets and something like that. They showed a demo where you capture a photo or you're discussing someone about a venue or you're going for a concert. It sort of books the tickets automatically as shown in this video. This is only like showing 3 or 4 steps, which I really worries me because like what if it books the wrong seat? What if it doesn't book for the proper concert, it hallucinates or something like that? Yeah. And then the next one is Rambler, as they are naming it. I don't know why Google names every single feature. Yeah, Rambler. It's not a good name for the feature, but what it essentially does is, you sort of brainstorm your ideas when talking or dictating. It sort of adds every single thing that you just mentioned, but now using Gemini or artificial intelligence, it sort of knows what you're trying to say and just removes the parts that it just rumbled. And custom widgets, you can create custom widgets with the recent data that you just feed Gemini, or Gemini knows about something about a recent event, or you're going for a travel or something like that. You can quickly customize a widget so that it stays on the home screen and you can just sort of know what is going to happen in the next few hours or the next few days on the trip, which is really good. Again, you have to see how it works in real life when you have that feature on hands. And 3D emojis, because some of the iOS users, when they're switching over to Google, especially Pixel phones, they hate how the emojis look on Android. So now it's more of 4,000 plus emojis are getting this 3D version, more refined version, which is good, I guess, for some people. So that's pretty much all the exciting new features that I think is really helpful in some cases for many users. So yeah, that's it. All right, a pretty simple video, a pretty simple presentation. They spend around like 30 plus minutes explaining even on their event. So it's like not a huge feature, not a huge upgrade as they're claiming it or hyping up to be. So yeah, but it's like, don't get me wrong, it's actually really better than the past few years that we have gotten with Android. So it's really appreciable, and also like the optimization is looking to be really really good this time. And I hope, really hope, the integration with Android and also Meta apps or whatever the social media app it might be, it works out this time, and all the teasing and all the trolling between the iOS and Android fans stops finally, and we have a peaceful, I don't know, like integration between these softwares. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the software. What is the best feature that you think, and what are the features that they need to add on top of the features that they're already implementing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you knew something new, and that's pretty much it. Catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.